Hi there, I'm Steve Gladys here at the George Mason Enterprise Center for Steve Gladys Leadership Partners. And we're continuing the discussion on innovation, innovative leadership, solving the innovation equation. And so far we've identified a few letters. I, remember, was for innovation, equals talent, T, plus E. Now this is the second letter of the three letters, and I know you've been waiting with bated breath. E is for environment. Environment. So if you have the right talent out there, motivated, engaged talent, ready to go, growth mindset, all those kinds of things, and you put them in an environment that is not suited to innovation, in a sense you plant seeds in fallow soil, in soil that's not rich, it'll die. It happens all the time. You can't put creative people with great imaginations, people who want to contribute in an environment that keeps slapping them down. It just won't work. You have to have that kind of environment. And when we looked at this, we looked at a number of things. I just want to talk about a few things this morning briefly. We looked at what creates that kind of environment. Basically, it's a motivating environment. If people are not motivated, if they're not emotionally engaged, they dry up. And we looked at things like Maslow's hierarchy of need. So if you're filling this in, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and what he says, you had to have physiological needs met first. You have to have safety needs met second. Then you have to have, he basically, his theory, and just about everybody knows this theory, is that you had to have, in order to be satisfied, or what he calls self-actualized, you had to pass through each one of these events. You had to have enough air and water. It had to be safe. You had to belong to a tribe of some sort, belonging, and then once you belong, having status was important. And the important thing about Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that it was the first real strong motivational model that was easy for people to understand. And the interesting thing about it was, just as quickly as you can go up it, you can come down it. You've seen many movie stars, for example, people who fall from grace and are at the top of the game, and all of a sudden they're lucky if they can get a job. We hope that never happens to anybody here listening, but Maslow's hierarchy of need was a very dynamic kind of motivational model. After some years after, 15, 20 years after, a guy named Fred Herzberg, H-E-R-Z, Fred Herzberg came along, and Herzberg's model, he took basically and sliced Maslow's model in half, and he said there are two things that have to happen to get motivation. First, you have to satisfy people, and then you have to motivate them. His interesting finding for him was that things that satisfied people were kind of these physiological safety things, all those kinds of things, including social belonging. But he said that those were extrinsic, those are outside you. So when it comes to work, what that meant was it was like you got paid well, you had a good supervisor, you had all those kinds of things around, you had benefits. All those things external to you needed you needed to take the job. But what he said that was interesting was, if you keep increasing pay and things like that, it won't motivate people. What motivates people is when you go from the extrinsic to the intrinsic, okay? The intrinsic. And the intrinsic are the things inside that motivate you. So each person is very individualized for that. So what motivates me, for example, is learning, and what motivates me is generosity, and things like that. So you have to appeal to things like that inside of me to get me to want to do stuff. And that's kind of what, that's what Herzberg found. And what we did was, Kim and I looked at the various models and kind of came up with a hybrid model that I think is a pretty strong model because of a lot of research that's being done now on being social at work. And our model is satisfaction. It's three parts. It's satisfaction. You have to have employees who are satisfied, just like Herzberg said. But then the next level is that they have to be socially engaged. That's a really big and important step. And then finally, they have to be purposeful. There's a lot of work that's been done on purpose and meaning by Teresa Amabile at Harvard. A lot of research on the strong social nature of man, done by Sandy Pentland at MIT and Matt Lieberman at UCLA. We think this model seems to work best, and we explain in the book how it works and and why it's very important for cultures. And so this is, I feel a little weird to put my name in here, but basically it's what we see as a model that embodies both of these and kind of compromises to a degree in a way that makes some sense. So environment's really important. The way you get environment is to make sure that people are motivated. We looked at the three different kinds of models and kind of came out of this model here and talked a lot in the book about how do you get to each one of those models. You'll find people out there, Dan Pink has a sort of a model that's like that. There are others who play around with a three-part model. I think that's a more accurate model and more easily applicable in today's world. Anyway, we've given you now the I, the T, and the E, so we'll give you the P next. Thanks very much. This is Steve Gladys from George Mason Enterprise Center.